Well, listen, we have been having just some amazing discussions about the four types of people that I wrote about in my brand new book, Healing Hurts, which on November 4th will be available everywhere bookstores, online platforms, anywhere you can get a book. You'll be able to get Healing Hurts. And these discussions have really been, I'm so thankful for the comments, the feedback. A couple of you even had text me that know me really well, and just hearing sometimes from those that are closest to you if what you're sharing is resonating with them. It just means so much. These conversations have been very powerful. And if you've not been a part of the previous ones, you need to go back. I really do think you need to go back and listen to those. We've been talking about four types of people. Again, I talk about these four types of people in the book, Healing Hurts: the lonely type of person, the depressed person, the insecure person, and I saved the best for last in the book and for our conversation. I want to talk today about the fearful person, the fearful person. Recently, when I was preaching at the church I lead here in Orlando, I made a statement, and after making it, just the depth of it really set in. And this is what I said. In 27 years of being in full-time ministry, I have never seen more people afraid than what I'm seeing right now. And I've never seen those that are dealing with fear dealing with it in the measure in which they're dealing with it. Fear is manipulating people's decision making. It's controlling what they say, what they do, how they react and respond to certain things. Fear is causing people to make some real big decisions that they end up regretting later because they're making them out of fear, not out of wisdom, not out of faith. Fear is just running rampant right now. But I want to tell you something. Fear is a spirit. It absolutely positively is. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and of a sound mind. That's what Timothy tells us. So fear is a spirit. And spirits can be broken. Spirits can be defeated through prayer, through the application of the Word of God in the life of the believer. But I think it's really important that if you're going to cure a sickness, that you find the open door that caused it so it doesn't come back again. And I see a lot of people temporarily get over fear, but because they haven't dealt with the trauma in their childhood or their first, second, third marriage, whatever it may be, fear just keeps slipping back in. And so Jesus said, I came to set you free and you to be free indeed, completely. So it's not a temporary freedom, but a permanent freedom. And again, and this is somewhat redundant, it doesn't mean that we won't still struggle with these things. Even fear. You may struggle with fear. You probably will struggle with fear for the rest of your life. But it doesn't have to have power and authority over you. It doesn't have to have control over you. You can walk in authority over fear. Now, I'm going to read just a few paragraphs from the book, and I'll stop and kind of delve in a little bit as I feel led to do so. But I really feel it necessary to read this to you because you might not even know that you are a fearful person. You may think you're not. I've found a lot of people, they're surprised when they find out that they're being controlled by fear. But let's read through this. Let's walk through this with an open mind and an open heart. Fearful people live in torment. Fearful people live in torment. They're anxious about everything. Their past, their present, their future. They're anxious about their finances, their job, what others think about them, and even things that might not ever happen. Do you find yourself obsessing over stuff that hasn't even happened? You sit at home or in your apartment or in your car. What if they do this? Well, what if that? And your stomach gets nauseous. You get irritated. You get physically sick over it. That's fear. Man, listen to me. That is fear. Fear causes you to obsess over. Fear causes you to invest emotion into things that haven't even happened yet. I'm just being convicted myself as I'm reading this. I know I wrote it, but I only wrote what hit me and what convicted me. Fearful people fear rejection, betrayal, abandonment, failure, and success. They fear being disapproved and they fear being approved because that brings a whole nother level of responsibility. They fear the unknown. They fear commitment. They fear being hurt. They fear not being good enough. They fear expectations. They fear responsibility. They fear being taken advantage of. Some of you about 3 minutes ago didn't think you were a fearful person, but you're starting to change your mind. But I'm not done. Fearful people, they're controlling people. If you are a controlling person, if you have controlling behavior, fear is at the root of that behavior. Well, how am I a controlling person? Always trying to boss people around, get your way. You don't like being told no. You manipulate circumstances and you manipulate people to get what you want. You guilt trip people to get what you want. You make them feel bad. You make them feel guilty. Controlling behavior. You use your anger to get people to do what you want. You use your fear tactics to get people to do, that's controlling behavior, which means you're a controlling person, which means you're dealing with fear. Don't click off and don't leave me any nasty comments. Somebody please give me a good comment. Let me know this is blessing you. I know it's tough stuff, but come on, let's keep jumping into this. They try to control others. Sometimes they even control out of good intentions, believing they are, quote, helping, end quote, even though their help is unrequested and unappreciated. Fearful people struggle to trust. They feel they need to be in charge and in control of everything. But when life inevitably spins out of control, their world is rocked and their security is shaken. In a panic, they do whatever it takes to regain control. They lie, cover up, hide, deceive, manipulate, blame. Come on, somebody. And they engage in a whole host of self-defeating behaviors, all in a desperate attempt to restore their illusion of safety. Fearful people, just in case you didn't know you're struggling with this, let's keep going. They struggle with integrity because they're afraid of the truth. They're afraid of the consequences. Look, this is what Adam and Eve did. All-knowing God walked with them in the cool of the day. Read the Bible. God walked with them in the Garden of Eden. They had perfect fellowship with God. And God asks them, where are you? Like he didn't know. They were hiding from a God who knew everything, who knows everything, who sees everything. What did you do? Oh, Adam made me do it. No, Eve made me do it. Who told you you were naked? They lacked integrity. Why? Because they were afraid of the consequences. They were afraid of what God was going to do. They were afraid of being punished. They were afraid of losing what they had. But where was that fear when they broke the commandment of God? Where was that fear when Eve, beguiled by the serpent, then told her husband to also eat of the fruit? Where was their fear of God? Where was their fear of being separated and losing everything they had? Then, here's what I'm trying to tell you. There's good fear, there's bad fear, godly fear, demonic fear. And when the enemy is afflicting you with the spirit of fear and you've given into the spirit of fear, it is impossible for you to walk in the fear of the Lord. Whew, hear that. As long as you are walking under the authority and under the control of the spirit of fear, you cannot walk in the fear of the Lord. They obviously were not afraid of breaking their covenant. They obviously were not afraid of losing their relationship with God. Till the consequences came, then they're afraid they're going to be kicked out. They're afraid they're going to get into trouble. They were afraid of the wrong thing. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the right thing or are you afraid of the wrong thing? Are you walking in the fear and the admonition of the Lord? I honor you. I fear you because you're holy. Not because I'm scared of you, not because you're going to do something bad, but you're so awesome. You're so holy. You're so overwhelming, so powerful, so mighty that it makes me tremble. My humanity can't comprehend you. That's the fear of the Lord. And I would never do anything to jeopardize that closeness. I would never do anything to jeopardize the work of the cross and what you've done for me. That's the fear of the Lord. Not fear of consequences, fear of getting in trouble, fear of making people mad, fear of losing a relationship, fear of, oh, they're going to hate me, they're not going to like me. That's not the fear of the Lord. And as long, and I'm going to say it again, as long as you are under the influence of the spirit of fear, you will never be able to walk in the fear of the Lord. Now, just in case you're still thinking, I don't have fear and I don't do that, I don't do any of that stuff. Let me ask you this question. How many times have you looked directly in the eyes of a loved one or a friend and told them, that didn't hurt me, when it really did? Oh, now I have a real talk now. How many times have you said, I don't need help, when really you needed a lot of help? When's the last time you were honest and said, I'm not okay, I'm not fine? Usually, no, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm cool, everything's all right. Why aren't you being honest? Fear. Maybe fear of actually having to deal with the feeling if you acknowledge it, or maybe fear of that person that's asking, rejecting you if you're honest. But fear is there. It's at the core of it. I've come to learn that fearful people don't tell the truth. They lie. That's why they lie, because they are afraid. Did you know a mask is a lie? A fake smile is a lie. Anything that doesn't accurately and properly portray who you are and how you feel is a lie. But let me tell you this in my last point. At its very core, fear is simply not trusting God.